As we all know, China's manufacturing industry is developing rapidly, and China accounts for 30% of global manufacturing value added and supplies 60% of the EU's intermediate product imports. And if you want to calculate a more accurate LCA results of your product, China's specific data is essential. But most widely used international databases like EcoEvent and Safari, they are lacking China-specific datasets. Some even have outdated information on Chinese technologies. Due to data lack and limitations in China-specific data sources, data deviations and distortions are present in almost every instance. Like for electricity, coal, petroleum coke, silicon, and etc. So timely and geographically specific data are critical to achieve accurate LCA results. HiQLCD provide finer technology and geographic granularity. Taking electricity as an example, for market datasets, they were constructed by voltage category and subdivided voltage level. For electricity generation, it covers 7 major power generation technologies in China, and data are available at a provincial level for each technology. And we integrated multi-sources, including authorized enterprise data, industry statistics, literature, and etc., to enhance the reliability and representativeness. And we 100% based on Chinese local sources. All datasets have undergone 2 times of internal review plus 1 external review to ensure the data validity. And one of the most important features is transparency. It reflected in 2 aspects. First is the transparency of data sources and the model methods, which is documented by using our HiQL editor. Second is the transparency of unit process, linkage, and data management. The URL in the top right corner is our data query platform. On that platform, we provide a visualized diagram for users to explore the upstream and downstream flows of the datasets. And it also displays the lifecycle management information for each dataset, including who and when create the dataset and who review it and when. You can see this video. It shows how to trace, right? And in China, HiQLCD established early partnerships with local governments, industry associations, leading enterprises, and academic institutions. For example, we work closely with the China Nefarious Metal Industry Association and co-built the China Aluminum Industry LCA database. So based on the profile editor tool, we have developed the HiQLCD 1.4 version. We have over 80,000 datasets, provide 3 types of system models, over 26 sectors, including electricity, metals, batteries, chemicals, waste disposal, and etc. The database we were launching for openLCA is the HiQLCD basic package, which contains more than 18,000 datasets per system model. The basic package of the HiQLCD database covering universal data applicable to all sectors. It covers all product categories and industry sectors in the HiQLCD, with most datasets not distinguishing between specific technologies or processes. Other sector-specific packages will be released in March 2026, including detailed technical datasets for corresponding sectors. And HiQLCD version 1.4 adds water balance checks for datasets input and output based on flow properties and further optimize the results of water footprint-related indicators. Version 1.4 adds over 1,300 new datasets per system model. In the electricity sector, new datasets are hydropower, wind power, self-generated electricity mix, and coal-fired power plants datasets. And in chemical sector, new datasets are created for 6 types of common resin materials. And in waste treatment sector, new datasets are biogas recovery datasets, as well as an expanded range of recycled waste categories. And for datasets updates, we have updated over 1,000 electricity datasets using activity data from the 2023 China Electric Power Yearbook. And for steel sector, key process parameters such as blast furnace iron making have been revised based on the China Iron and Steel Industry Yearbook. And the structure of urea related data has been reorganized to enhance applicability and flexibility. And PV industry datasets have been updated with activity data from the latest research in China's photovoltaic sector. And raw coal production datasets have been improved using the latest coal industry research, with key parameters updated, including mine recovery rates, mine water utilization rates, and gas utilization rates. And here is a small example about lead-acid batteries. As you can see, for the same reference product, HiQLCD is much more accurate in terms of geography and time period. Since it is based on local Chinese data, the calculated GWP result is significantly lower than the average for rest of the world. The most significant update in version 1.4 is the addition of the allocation cutoff EN15804 system model. This model is an attributional system model developed to meet the need of practitioners working on environmental product declarations. It complies with the attributional interpretation of EN15804, ISO 21930, and ISO 14025. It provides all life cycle inventory indicators required by these standards and follows the end-of-waste criteria established by the European Commission. The allocation cutoff EN15804 system model follows the core principles of the cutoff approach. All intermediate flows are classified into 3 categories: allocatable products, recyclable, and waste. Their classification determines the allocation method within the modeling framework. Similar to the allocation cutoff by classification system model, the generator of waste bears the full environmental burden of waste treatment. Recyclable outputs are burden-free for the user when utilized. The main differences from the allocation cutoff by classification system model lie in the cutoff point and inventory indicators. The boundary between primary and secondary system is defined and adjusted according to the end-of-waste criteria in EN15804. And following this guideline, the cutoff point in some supply chains has been adjusted to align with the end-of-waste requirements. Where necessary, product classifications have also been updated to match the new cutoff point. And further processing required after a material researches its end-of-waste states no longer belongs to the primary system. And in addition, this model provides the full sets of indicators required for EPDs at both the LCI and LCIA levels. These include indicators for resource use, waste categories, output flows, and biogenic carbon content, fully aligned with the EN15804 standard.
So now, very quickly, where can you find the HiQLCD for openLCA? You can visit our website, our marketplace for databases, so openLCA Nexus. You can find the link here. We still have to release the new version, so 1.4, but it will be soon released, probably this week. So you will be able to select the database that you want to use and to add it to the cart, and then simply check out and indeed proceed with the payment. Okay, now let's get to the core. Let's see how it looks in openLCA. So this is our software. The difference with the previous version is that now we have some folders here that previously you didn't have. So in the previous version, you had a long list of processes here, while now we have some folders, so it's much easier to navigate the database indeed. And when you open the folders, you can find then the other processes, for example, all the processes concerning energy carriers and technologies. And the same can be seen here in the flows. So here as well, you have all these folders with that division, a broad division of the flows indeed. So again, HiQLCD is based on system processes, not on unit processes, and this means that system process is basically an aggregated data set. So for example, if we open a casual process, we will see that we have some inputs and outputs that are all elementary flows. Okay, so we do not have the detail of what's upstream and downstream, even if, as Ginger said, if you go in their website, you will find these details indeed. Now, let's see how we can perform a calculation in openLCA. So again, this is the example that Ginger was showing. So the lead battery, the lead acid battery. So what we have to do, we start from the process. We already created the product system here, and we can proceed with the calculation. We'll select the impact assessment method IPCC 2021. And really quickly, we will obtain some results. Now, we can get, for example, to the contribution tree. There are different ways of visualizing the results. Now I'm taking the one that personally I prefer. And we can see that the global warming potential will be indeed the same that Ginger was showing in the slides. So we will have 1.73 kilograms of CO2 equivalents. Okay, so this is really quickly how the database looks in openLCA. Of course, this was just a really quick example. Something else maybe I wanted to show you, like Ginger said, in this version of HiQLCD, you will find other processes, other flows compared to the previous version. If you want to look for a new process or a new flow, I will just copy a name of one of the new processes. You can just copy the name here and proceed with the research, and you will find all the results indeed of the research here. So for example, this is a process that was not present in the previous version of HiQLCD. And again, you can just click here, you will find the description and all the details. And if you go in the input and the outputs, you will have all the indeed the elementary flows typical of this process here. Before we said for the lead acid battery example, we selected the IPCC method, and you can find all the methods here in the impact assessment methods folder. And the methods that you see here, the package is the openLCA LCIA method. Okay, so the HiQLCD that doesn't have an impact assessment method of its own. So indeed, what you will find here again is the openLCA LCIA method package that you can also find in Nexus if you want to know and have more info about that. Okay. So this is briefly how it looks in openLCA. If some of you never saw the software, sorry, we also offer some open door sessions to explain how it looks. So maybe you can start working indeed with our software, with openLCA and the HiQLCD database. Something came in. Perfect. Okay. Hi, thanks for the presentation. 2 questions. Okay, so the first one, is the database available in other formats than Zolka? For instance, if we want to use it in Brightway. So when you download it from openLCA, it will be in a Zolka format because this is the typical format of openLCA, but you can use openLCA to transform it in other formats as well, so you can also use it in Brightwave, for example. Does the database, so this is more for Ginger, I think, does the database covers the electronic sector, for example, PCBs, GPU, and CPU?
Yeah, so I can answer this question. First, I think that you can download from openLCA, and openLCA has a strong converting function, so you can transform the format to use it in Brightway or even other potential platforms. So the bottom is IRCD, so I think it supports different types of conversion. Second, about your question, PCB electronic. So yeah, as you can see, we have really a frequent updating of HiQLCD, but as you can see, for openLCA platform last year, we only have 1.1 and 1.4 because we were doing a lot of translation work. But so from this year, you will see more frequent updating through openLCA platform because we fix all these professional translation already. So during the year, actually, we will usually have when updating once a quarter. So during the quarter, we are expanding the coverage. So today we have already covered some key electronic parts or product like PCBs, and actually now we are working with some key or famous Chinese chip or semiconductor producer. So this year, actually, like a GPU or CPU will be a key sector that we will cover. But currently, I think we support some parts, PCBs or circuit boards, for example, and maybe I think from the second half, we are going to release more really GPU or CPU or other semiconductor data sets. Yeah, so this is what we insist on for a long term maintenance and updating. So for Chinese data sets, it's a long-term journey. So we will continue to expand the coverage.
And I just found in our data query and I just search, we do have PCB board. Yeah, you can search in our query platform.
Yeah, perfect. And honestly, on my side, I think it's very nice and very interesting to see when a database is live. You know, when you really see it's always getting better and better month after month. Because as Johnson said, for example, the previous webinars, we had one in autumn and the previous one like a year ago. So in just a year, we had 3 webinars, and this is because again, the database is live. So the HiQLCD team is doing his best to indeed go on developing the database and making it richer and richer, I would say. Okay, then we have another question. Again, thank you for the presentation. And could you explain more about the difference from the cutoff model in terms of the end-of-life waste treatment modeling?
Okay, so I think first, as you can see, we comply with eco-invents methodology. So initially, we support cutoff and consequential, and in Q4 last year, so we support EM15804. So I think that what you mentioned, cutoff and end of life, it's a comparison, it's a difference between cutoff and EM15804. So EM15804 is a PCR for the construction sector for whole Europe. So it is mainly used for EPD registration. So you can see like now we have already supported several EPD registration using HiQLCD, because before that only first it is only like EcoInvent and openLCA. You have the exist EM15804. In addition, that it's only like a company specific EPD. It's over there. So I think this is the first Chinese specific database supporting EPD registration. But for really detailed like methodology, you can leave your email or other contact. Our methodology expert can discuss with you that. But it's like it's the PCR required specific like end of life allocation or treatment. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and also on this point as well, it's really nice that there is like some kind of similarity between the HiQLCD database and EcoInvent, because of course EcoInvent is one of the most used database worldwide. So this really helps and supports the users to understand better. Are any production costs incorporated already in the processes? Do you plan to incorporate social assessment data?
Yes, so we think that SLC is really a future direction and interesting topic. And so we are also considering attend the SLC conference in Indonesia later this year. But as you know, like that, first our target or our plan is to have a complete Chinese database first. So traditional LCA database first to cover most key sectors. And today we are still working on that. So I think SLCA is our future. Probably next year we will have additional resource to work on that. But this year we will continue to expand the coverage, like the GPU or CPU we mentioned before.
What is the difference of HiQLCD database and national level of national database of greenhouse gas emission factors, or CPCD?
So many people asked this. So first, the national database of greenhouse gas, it's designed for organization carbon footprint. So it is mainly like scope 1, 2 concept. So it's completely different from LCA database or product carbon footprint database. But in December last year, so the several ministry of China, they released the guideline for product carbon footprint. So that one is a bit similar, or it's one part of like HiQLCD, because HiQLCD is a life cycle inventory database. It covers all kinds of like LCIA life cycle impact indicators. So, and we also support CML, Tracy, GREAT, IPCC is only one part of that. So I think this is a big difference. So first, it's a totally two different thing from the national greenhouse gas emission factor you mentioned. For CPCD, I think CPCD is also a volunteer or open source platform that collects most LCIA factor from literature. So, but for us, for HiQLCD, everything is modeled from unit process. You can track everything. There are for documentation supporting the methodology, each data set, who modeled it, when modeled it, what's the modification for different versions. And the important thing is that HiQLCD is fully openLCA format or ILCD format supported. This means that this database is the first database cover Chinese specific product that can be used in professional LCA software. So the only value or emission factor, you can't use them directly in tools because they can't meet the quality requirements or format requirements of ILCD or of LCA calculation. So for openLCA, for example, the calculation is based on life cycle inventory, elementary flows. So that's a totally different story from emission factor or only carbon footprint calculation. So this is my answer to your question.